Lady, where's your car?
I'm going to the market.
Easy, RoboCop.
Welcome to Mystery Files, where we take a deep dive into cases that span from the creepy to the truly bizarre and everything in between. I'm Shane, and today I'll be forcing my colleague Ryan to hear all about the Battle of Los Angeles.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the shitty movie from 2011.
No, I know. Trailer was great. Movie was
great
terrible.
Trailer, bad film. Anyway, we're not talking about that bad film. Today we're talking about perhaps the second most destructive foreign attack on U.S. soil during World War II. Or was it a completely nonsensical battle against what appeared to be not a single enemy?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And in the end, you'll have to decide if the case is solved or simply a mystery. You ready?
Yeah, I actually have heard about this one. I don't know the...
You're an Angelina.
I don't know the intimate details. I just know the headline. The headline is...
The headline is... What is it?
There was a battle in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you got it. Well, let's dive in. Hope you're ready to get wet. Because we're diving into the mystery.
Hey, we're in the basement. It means it's time to get wet.
It's time to get wet. We get wet in the basement down here. On February 23rd, 1942, an I-17 Japanese submarine stealthily made its way up a channel near Elwood oil field, just outside of Santa Barbara. When it broke the surface, it managed to shoot a mere 16 shells at Elwood Beach before escaping to the open ocean.
Sorry.
What?
That's not funny. I just imagine the submarine going and just going under the water.
Well, it is funny that it just pops up real quick and it's like pew, 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 pew.
And it just like goes under the water like a little gopher.
Maybe we can do that in post. We can animate that right here.
Yeah.
Watch.
Give it a little gopher noise.
Here comes a cartoon submarine.
Like little gophers that pop up in Mickey Mouse's house.
Oh, and there he goes. That's fun. That's fun. Now, damage to the facility was minor, but the U.S.'s greatest wartime nightmare was activated. Japanese forces had made their way to American soil. This is actually, this is an interesting episode because you're half Japanese.
That's correct.
But you're from Los Angeles.
Which one is one for the home team here? I have no idea. However, I will say that I'm an American.
Of course. Well, of course.
And America did not recognize that back in the day.
No, they didn't.
Certainly weren't able to parse that out.
They were making some pretty bad decisions.
Hence the headline that says Japs.
Where does it say that? Oh, that's no good. That's bad.
Why don't you read that headline aloud?
No,
Shane?
I'm not going to do that. Civilians were still traumatized by Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941, a Japanese kamikaze airstrike on the now legendary Hawaiian naval base resulted in 2,300 gruesome fatalities, 3,400 casualties, and millions of dollars of destruction for the armed forces. Go ahead, Ryan.
And a really shitty Michael Bay film.
Really bad movie. Again, good trailer.
Twitter would have been crazy during Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, that would have been a trending topic for sure. After years of avoiding the fray on the Western Front, the attack forced the U.S. to declare definitive military action. The war was taking over the globe from Africa to the South Pacific. And now, starting with an oil field in Santa Barbara, maybe in our own backyard of the contiguous 48 states.
Nice.
Can you imagine beautiful Santa Barbara? You're driving around in one of those little cars that you like to drive around there.
Oh, yeah.
You're up there with Mari, maybe you're vacationing.
That'd be great.
Going to, I don't know, what do they got up there, like Zara's and Gaps and stuff.
They got like
it's just a big mall these
They have a
days,
Chipotle
right?
there.
Okay.
And then like a movie theater. We got married there. It was fun.
Not in the
Chipotle.
Okay. Oh, even better. It's your wedding because it was on the beach.
It was
right on the shore.
Yeah, it was.
What if at your wedding a submarine surfaced and started firing artillery?
Then I would swim out to the submarine like Indiana Jones.
You'd
in
hop
Raiders
on
of the Lost
top.
Ark. I'd hop on, and then everyone at the wedding would clap, just like they did for Indy. It didn't really make a lot of sense.
You'd screw the thing, right?
And then it'd play the Indy theme as I got inside.
Lift it up.
And I'd start punching Nazis. But
Yeah,
these weren't really technically Nazis. They'd be my.
well, let's say they're.
I could get in the submarine and I would look like the people in the Japanese submarine, and they would be like.
Do you know Japanese?
No.
What if, because I feel like laughter is sort of the international language, what if you jump down and we're like, ha ha!
And they'd be like, "Why are you in a tuxedo?" In Japanese, they'd ask.
Oh,
me
because
that.
it's your wedding, right?
And then I'd get naked.
Yeah, and then it turns into sort of an Eastern Promises fight, maybe.
I'd be in there, dick schwangin'.
Oh, anyway, good to know that you'd defend our country on your wedding day.
I would defend it with my dong.
Yeah. All right, let's move along. Now, in the year after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the West Coast had prepared for the possibility of a Japanese strike. The date, which will live in infamy, left a legacy of fear that weighed heavily, and rumors of Japanese attacks on the mainland were rampant. In LA, blackouts and drills were common practice, and residents had become familiar with the call of sirens and searchlights.
What is that supposed to be?
Huh? That's a searchlight.
Oh, it looked like the black hole in Interstellar. Reach out a hand comes out of it, and we're trying to grab the hand. Remember that? And we're like, is it aliens? Is it aliens, Chris? I don't know.
Murph, I'm this Goosebumps book over here.
And then we get to the end, and it's like, oh, it's just fucking McConaughey.
It's just McConaughey. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Then, just a day after the attack in Santa Barbara, a warning was issued on February 24th, 1942. Naval intelligence reported an attack could be expected from Japanese forces in the next 10 hours. Needless to say, people were on edge, prepared for the air raid sirens that ultimately blasted throughout the city at 7:18 p.m. Alarming. As reports of a large number of flares and blinking lights were spotted near the city's defense plants. Thousands of volunteer air raid wardens jumped from their couches and dinner tables and assembled at their posts across LA County to be on the lookout.
I think every house in America should have one of those giant floodlights in their front lawn.
They're cool.
Fun.
I always see them in the sky in LA, and you know who it always is?
Hollywood Bowl.
Scientology.
No!
Yeah. The Bowl does have some too, but a lot of times it's Scientology.
Scientology, they got it all. They got those
took it
lights
all.
and they got Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Maybe this was Xenu. But by 10:23 p.m., the alert lifted without incident. The city returned to a relative calm, residents grateful for sleep after a tense and fearsome evening.
What's that lady driving?
She looks like she has like a camera or
It
something.
looks like she's driving an invisible car. Beep, beep. Hang on! I gotta make it right.
It sort of does. I don't actually know what that is.
What the fuck is she doing? Hey lady, where's your car?
I'm going to the market. Anyway, so things died down around 10:23 p.m. Nice time to go to bed.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's my bedtime.
But hours later, at 2:15 a.m., chaos erupted again when
shit.
radars picked up signals of an unidentified target just 120 miles west of LA. That's the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Within minutes, anti-aircraft batteries were put on green alert. They were ready to fire on command. Tense. Now, radars tracked the approaching target until it was just a few miles from the coast. 6 minutes after the signal was picked up at 2:21 a.m., a regional controller ordered a blackout throughout the city. If enemy planes were overhead, buildings with lights on would obviously be the easiest to bomb. To the residents' alarm, the area plunged into darkness. Very scary.
Looks like they get all the movie channels there. Big ass satellite.
Now, the Air Force kept its limited fleet of fighter planes grounded, awaiting more intel, and their patience was shortly rewarded. The mysterious flying object seemed to have vanished from the radar's detection. But that didn't stop a deluge of reports flooding the control center, all claiming to have spotted enemy planes, including one at 2:43 a.m. when a Coast Artillery colonel stationed near Long Beach said he spotted about 25 planes at 12,000 feet over the city. Then, at 3:06 a.m., somewhere over Santa Monica, a balloon carrying a red flare was spotted. It seems to have been the last straw for the nerves of those on duty. 4 batteries of anti-aircraft artillery opened fire, and suddenly, the air over Los Angeles erupted like a volcano, much like the movie Volcano, starring Tommy Lee Jones.
I remember that one.
Yeah. We gotta get these people out of here.
That's good.
So the whole movie is just like, hey, you got a volcano going up here, we gotta get these people out of here.
I think you're gonna like your movie.
I think you're gonna like your movie, pal. Yeah. So, pure chaos in Tinseltown right now. Over the next 3 hours and into the light of dawn, more than 1,440 rounds were launched into the air. Once the shelling began, reports became hopelessly at variance. But what is known is that not a single enemy bomb was actually dropped that night. And despite over 1,000 rounds of ammunition that were fired, there is no evidence that any aircraft were hit.
Do you think you got him?
Yeah, this is fucking crazy, man.
I'm just picturing, you know how fucking long it would take for 1,000 rounds to be shot? Just them just going, fire at will, all right, hell yeah.
This is, yeah, these are probably anti-aircraft guns or something too, so it's like,
for like 2 hours straight. And at the end, like, all right, you think we got him?
I mean, you have to admit, though, it's probably difficult to, pitch black.
Yeah,
Can't
sure.
see anything. Ryan, do you notice something strange?
No.
You don't at all?
Did you shit yourself again?
No, do you notice something strange about our surroundings?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of, looks like birds with crosshairs around them.
We're under attack, Ryan!
Oh, I see.
We're about to be plunged into darkness and you're gonna have to shoot these. So observe their locations. What do we have here? A terrifying bird!
Yeah.
A little alien!
Yeah.
His UFO, his spaceship.
Such a bunch of things that fly, I get it.
Yes, a jet, a balloon.
Cool.
Okay, so we're gonna plunge you into darkness and see how effectively you can shoot at these things.
Oh, I'll be much more effective than these jackasses.
We'll see. Let's begin. Let's get the air raid sirens going. Whoa, chaos.
Wow, that's really loud.
Ah! Can we do some shaky cam like, whoa!
Oh, like Cloverfield.
Ah!
Oh, shit.
Oh!
Oh, God.
Oh, very scary.
Someone give me some jelly beans.
It's chaos. Ah! Oh!
Oh, no.
Oh!
I need a weapon.
He needs a weapon. Carter. Always nice to see Carter.
Always nice to see
Always
Carter.
nice to see Carter. Here's your...
And some extra bullets.
I'm gonna let you look at these one last time before you.
Oh,
go
I'm not
into
gonna
the
even
dark.
be able to see
You
them?
can't see. Just like those brave gunners. If you hit me, you lose points.
Okay.
If it helps, I can always give you sort of an audio cue. I can go over where the targets are. That looks great on you.
All right, ready?
Yeah. Whoa! Come on, man. No, not for. Oh! Oh!
Marco.
Oh! Oh, he's out of bullets, thank God.
Reload! I need to reload!
Carter, can we reload him?
I got it.
You've got it all? You don't seem like you're doing a good job.
No, dude, if they could do it, I could do it. Here we go.
I'll try and get you to do each target. The bird! The UFO! The alien! The plane! You little nasty little fucker. And the balloon! Okay, you can take your blindfold off.
How many times did I hit you?
I think you hit me twice. Oh, great work.
Thank you.
I think you did better than those gunners. Even without hearing my little taps, you did a pretty good job on these.
It was easier to hear your footsteps, so I was just like, oh, this is good.
I knew I should have worn my little slippers
You
today.
should.
Did you enjoy that? Was that exhilarating?
Oh, it was more than exhilarating. Arousing.
I think we've awakened something in you.
I think so.
Now, even if some began to wonder if the attack had lived in the city's collective imagination, the fatal consequences were quite real. 5 civilians died that night.
What?
Yes. And several more were injured.
How?
All due to the chaos surrounding the event, rather than at the hands of an actual foreign attack.
How did they die?
I don't know. I'm curious what I do know. I'm curious what you think happened.
Well, I can't imagine they got hit by any of the gunfire that was going into the sky, but I do imagine that people thought it was the end of the world, so they probably ended up looting and killing each other.
Well, let's find out. 3 people died in traffic accidents
So that's games.
on the city's completely blacked out streets. Maybe that woman with the steering wheel.
Yeah. I swear I'm in my car.
2 died as a result of a heart attack from the stress.
Wow.
And some essential workers were injured on the job, including a radio announcer who suffered a head injury after running into an awning. Classic dog.
Oh God! Ah! Just headphones go flying off his head.
A police officer cut his right leg after kicking in the window of a still-lit store in Hollywood.
Fucking easy, RoboCop.
Turn the lights off!
And a handful of volunteer air raid wardens suffered injuries like broken legs and sprained ankles from running about in the dark. And lastly, one man heroically but comically fell down his own front stairs and broke an arm.
Yeah, well, I don't know why you're running around in the dark.
It sounds pretty funny.
Just sit still.
Aside from the people who died,
Yeah.
everything else pretty funny.
You gotta just sit still.
Just people being like,
donk. Oh, my leg!
people slipping on banana peels.
Yeah, it's too much.
Meanwhile, everyone's like,
Yeah, those guys sitting there with the fucking
woman in the
artillery
steering
guns.
wheel. Oh!
Just there rock hard, just like, hell yeah! Light them up!
Now that's a battle Los Angeles I'd pay to see in theaters. All right, now the sheriff was said to be particularly embarrassed after he, quote, valiantly arrested several Japanese nurserymen and gardeners and turned them into the FBI, alleging that he caught them red-handed, sending signals to the enemy aviators.
Makes sense.
Clearly, he showed his agenda, and they were doing no such thing. Great work.
Good work, guy.
Now, at the time, Japan didn't take credit for the attack, and after the war, Japan confirmed that it didn't have any planes in the area at the time of the raid. But false reporting from the media in the immediate aftermath only added fuel to the fire. Imaginative war reporting from that night described swarms of planes and balloons ranging from 1 to several hundred, traveling at altitudes from a few thousand to over 20,000 feet over the city, flying at speeds ranging from very slow to over 200 miles an hour.
Wow.
So, just a bunch of baloney.
If I'm in Japan and I'm a Japanese person, I'm looking at this report and just going, we're living in their head rent-free, baby. They're
How's
over
it
there
feel?
firing in the fucking night and
Yeah.
nothing. How embarrassing.
Oh my God!
Gonk. Guys. Meanwhile, I'm sipping tea looking at a sunset over in Japan.
In a headline titled, Air Battle Rages Over Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner quoted witnesses who falsely claimed to have spotted 50 planes, 3 planes shot down over the ocean, and one that landed in a fiery eruption near Vermont Avenue.
You would think they'd have pictures of that.
Yeah.
That plane that crashed into a street.
It's one of those things, though. I wonder, though, because obviously the internet didn't exist.
That's true.
As far as we know, let's say a car crashes on Vermont Street. Someone plows their car into Fred 62. And the local, oh, a big fire explosion over there. Oh, maybe it was a plane. Because
like
if you're
telephone,
assuming, like, you know, there's planes in the sky, they're attacking us. You see maybe a car crash or someone hears something, word travels around town. How do you even, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's no real way to look it up online. You're just reading the paper and listening to what people said.
Yeah,
So
essentially.
I guess it makes sense that maybe things got out of hand and people were telling tall tales.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it was quickly revealed that the entirety of the damage caused to the city, including thousands of dollars of damage to buildings, homes, and automobiles, were caused by our own shells that failed to explode in the air and instead blasted upon impact on the ground.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. Now, the LA Times might have put it best when they described the overwhelming sense of confusion that followed. Quote, exultation was in the air. The city had met its first taste of war with valor. It was exhilarating, but exultation turned to embarrassment the next day when the Secretary of the Navy said there had been no air raid, no enemy planes. It was just a case of jitters. Embarrassment turned to outrage. The Army was accused of shooting up an empty sky.
I mean, at least we fessed up. We were like, hey, we beefed it.
Yeah.
There was no one there.
Really embarrassing stuff.
Really makes us look strong to our enemies.
Especially because everyone was probably like really proud, like, yeah, we got them.
That's right.
They must have turned around and fled.
People in Los Angeles the next morning walking around just like,
We fucking did it.
we did it. Maybe
That's what you get.
like dirt on their face, even though there was no war, but
Yeah.
they put it on there.
No one knew how the heck things spiraled so far out of control that night. From searchlight operators to gunners to radar guys, they all testified that they'd been following orders from above, all the way to a dead end. Because even more confusingly, there was a, quote, divergence of views between the War and Navy departments and the unsatisfying conjectures advanced by the Army to explain the affair. Basically, no one could get the story straight, which led to, quote, vigorous public discussion.
Yeah.
So everyone's pointing a finger. The buck is never stopping. It's just People being like, I was just doing what they said. And then they were like, well, I was just doing what they said.
That must be so embarrassing. You know when you like go out for a night of drinking and then the next morning you're like, what the fuck did I say or do? Like you're just like kind of like in a state of just like embarrassment. Yeah. This has got to be the worst version of that. Yeah. Where you spend all night shooting at something that's not.
Well, luckily it was dark, so you could be like, I knew the whole time I was in my house.
Yeah, I was just following orders.
Yeah. All right, moving along. Now, it seemed military authorities had taken on a policy of stubborn silence, even in the face of enormous public outcry, fear, and uncertainty. From his post in Washington, D.C., Navy Secretary Frank Knox wrote off the entire affair completely, saying, quote, as far as I know, the whole raid was a false alarm and could be attributed to jittery nerves. And just a day later, the War Department, presenting the Army's side of the story, claimed that in fact, at least 1 and possibly 5 unidentified aircraft had flown over LA that night.
What, you mean the Army weren't able to admit fault?
I guess the Army was being a little tight-lipped on this one, yeah.
Yeah. That guy looks like a pleasant dude.
That looks like a Frank Knox. This guy looks like a real son of a bitch.
That looks like he's never smiled in his entire life.
Yeah. He might be dead here. Doesn't
possess the money. He looks like a wax figure. Yeah. Fucking guy.
Now, as the various branches of the military floated conflicting theories that confirmed nothing, the Washington Post suggested that the way the government handled the entire disastrous situation in LA, especially in the aftermath, was in fact the actual recipe for jitters. While questions on the lack of transparency in the wake of the attack are valid, military experts say that tactically, for the War Department to explain the truth, they would have had to air a, quote, complete revelation of the weakness of our air defenses, which naturally they could not do, lest enemy forces take advantage of the information. Real convenient.
Look at those stats. 3 transports sunk, 2 planes shot down. That's some good shit.
G-Men sees 29 in Florida raids.
That's probably real.
I don't know what they were doing in Florida at that time.
I think they saw the writing on the wall. They're like, we got to get rid of these folks.
We got to put a stop to Florida.
That's right.
Get the G-Men down there.
We got to start breeding gators in this place to get rid of some of these folks.
Anyway, a pretty comprehensive report here. But now we must figure out what in the hell actually happened in LA that night. And I think you know what time it is.
Oh, baby, it's corkboard time.
Cork.
Aliens.
Cork.
Aliens.
Cork.
Aliens.
Cork.
Aliens.
Cork.
Aliens. Yeah. It's alien time. All right.
All right. Let's dig into
it.
these theories. You got any prominent ones you're already stewing on? I got a hunch that you're thinking about the little green fellas.
My rank number 5. You only have 4 theories. I have about 5. 5th theory: aliens. 5th. Aliens. 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 Aliens.
All right. Well, let's see if they show up. I know you do love those little guys. Theory 1. Unidentified planes.
Boo.
Not exciting,
Boo.
I know. Well, hey, you know what? I enjoy this. I like the feedback. You can boo these theories if you don't like them.
Boo.
Okay, all right. Now, our first theory comes from U.S. Secretary of War himself, Henry Stimson, who said that there were actually 15 unidentified aircrafts over Los Angeles that night. Now, he believed these planes could be commercial aircrafts operated by enemies, launched from secret airfields in California or Mexico, or even from Japanese submarines. I don't know how that would work. I
don't believe this guy. Look at him. Look at
this guy. I can't trust this guy as far as I can throw him.
He looks like an emaciated Walt Disney.
Yeah, he looks like he should be writing Grapes of Wrath or some shit. Also, what is this part? It's
I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Yeah, I don't know. It's not even centered.
Maybe it was a la mode at the time, but I'll tell you, that's a grade A dork if I've ever seen one.
I gotta say. And he thinks unidentified planes. Next,
well, there's still a little bit more to this one.
All right.
Stimson claimed these unidentified planes didn't fly to attack. Rather, their mission was tactical: determine the location of anti-aircraft defenses and gather reconnaissance on West Coast military operations. The big cherry on top was instilling fear and damaging civilian morale.
That's actually a military exercise. It's called probing.
Probing? You know a thing or two about probing, don't you?
Oh, I'll tell you, that's a different kind of probing, but I am an expert in that.
Now, it seems hard to get a more official explanation than what we just heard, but many, including the Washington Post, pushed back on this theory at the time, writing that the Army's theory failed to explain why no American planes were sent in pursuit of them. Would the U.S. government casually allow enemy spies and clunky commercial aircrafts to make their way cozily down the California coast? Based on just about all of written history, it seems unlikely.
That's a good point. Why wouldn't they just scramble some whatever, fucking 25?
I don't know what they had then. I don't think they had the Fs
Well,
yet.
scramble something.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. But certainly it doesn't make any sense. This guy's full of shit.
No.
You can boo him again.
Boo!
Thank you. So knowing that that doesn't seem to hold much water, why don't we move on to theory number 2?
See what I Birds?
They were birds?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Birds?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I don't know that I should be ashamed. I don't know that I should be
I
ashamed.
think you thought so too. You just hit yourself with your pointer.
I don't know that I should be ashamed of myself so much as California should be ashamed of themselves.
I mean, that's true. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
Ooh, balloons.
Oh, Pennywise did it.
Now, another theory for what happened that night relates to the questionable accuracy of radar, which was a brand new piece of technology that was, quote, just months past initial field testing. Radar itself was inherently a complicating factor, as it had only very recently been added to the anti-aircraft defense system. You're okay. This actually seems pretty plausible to me, but you're giving it that. Unbelievable. The California State Library speaks to this particular piece of state history, saying, quote, at one of the new radar stations near Santa Monica, pay attention, okay? The crew tried in vain to arrange for some planes to fly by so that they could test the system. As no one could spare the planes at the time, they hit upon a novel way to test the radar. One of the guys bought a bag of nickel balloons and then filled them with hydrogen, attached metal wires, those, you know,
Attach them, great.
attached some metal wires, and then let them go. Catching the offshore breeze, the balloons had the desired effect of showing up on the screens, proving the equipment was working. So it sort of worked, at least. Can we say with certainty that the technology was up to speed after they tested it using kids' balloons and coat hangers? Probably not. Some have gone as far to say that birds could have been what the radar picked up that night to set the whole calamitous wheel into motion. That really is a theory
But didn't
for the birds.
But wasn't there like a pilot that said they saw 25 planes? Like it wasn't all radar.
I mean, radar is what set the whole thing off.
I recall eyewitness testimony of like people in the military saying, I saw them, like in the sky. Like a guy in a plane, like in San Francisco, was like, I saw 25.
Maybe he was full of it. Maybe he saw birds, man. I mean, radar is clearly pretty shoddy at this time.
Yeah, I guess.
It's picking up birds.
Did they have instances where it picked up birds before this?
Yeah.
They did?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, clearly it was picking up balloons.
What they
If it
were
picks up
attached,
balloons,
but
it
they
can-
had metal on them, though. Like,
You ever see how big a pelican is?
It's a maybe. Maybe it's not a full this, but maybe it's like,
Okay, it's
it's a one pump.
Okay, so this is a theory for the one pump chumps, as they
Yeah.
say. Okay. Moving along to theory 3. The aircrafts were actually
Oh God,
weather balloons. Balloons, Ryan.
I'm so tired of the weather balloons.
I know, we get those a lot, don't we? Now, this is actually the most popular theory among military experts. It also has to do with balloons, this time less with the birthday variety. Many believe the defense systems could have accidentally misread weather balloons as enemy aircrafts. Meteorological balloons, which you see here, big, beautiful things. You ever seen one of those in person?
Yeah,
I haven't. I would love to see how big they are.
they're big.
Are they big? How big are they?
Fucking huge, man.
Big?
I don't know. I mean, I don't like know the dimensions off the top of my head, but I
don't
do know
either.
that weather balloons are used to explain a bunch of things, like Roswell.
Well, I guess you could see here there's some little sailors next to it with their little hats. Oh, this one's big. This one's real big.
I just don't know how you could trust anything the military says at this point when they've already revealed they've been lying to us for the past like several decades.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't trust anything anybody says. I mean, but I guess you got to trust some stuff in this world.
I don't
right?
trust the military, I tell you that.
Probably don't trust the military. Now, meteorological balloons were commonly released over LA, and a careful study of the evidence suggests that these were the cause of the alarm. This theory is also supported by the fact that as the targets were being tracked by radar, it seemed they moved too slowly to have been airplanes.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. Airplane, by and large, go fast. Airplane go real fast.
Is that backed up by data?
Can we confirm airplane go fast?
Airplane go fast.
Okay, we have confirmed airplane go fast. Because when you get in an airplane,
I'm sipping a ginger ale.
you're sitting your ginger ale, and you're like, oh, we're sitting here on the tarmac. Then suddenly, go fast.
But then it doesn't feel like you're going fast.
No, because you're in plane.
Yeah.
But plane go real fast. Theory 4.
It better be what I want to see.
I don't know.
It better be what I want to see.
Well, this little theory, I don't know if you'll like it. You probably don't even want to see it. Should we just end it here? You don't need to see theory 4.
I'll shoot you in the nuts.
Theory 4.
Let's go!
It's aliens,
Yeah!
baby!
Finally!
Dot, dot, dot. Ooh.
I don't need the ellipses after that. I don't know what that's about.
Well, yes, of course, no list of theories for Ryan would be complete without aliens, the little gray fellas from above.
Right.
That's right. That night, the City of Angels may have been visited by an alien spacecraft. Now, this theory largely stems from a retouched photo of the event that was unbelievably published by the Los Angeles Times. It's kind of hard to see here, but that's just a clearly fake UFO
Yeah.
that someone doctored.
Yeah.
The dramatic dark black and white photo, which underwent modifications that would be frowned upon by today's photo editors, seems to indicate an unidentified aircraft surrounded by searchlights.
Nice.
Yeah, you can see it here too.
Hell yeah.
It's a little more visible there.
I think this is it. We solved it.
Do you like this guy?
I do. I mean, I just like the idea of aliens going, looks like they're on edge down there. Watch how funny this shit is.
And that's what I do.
And then disappear for a second,
That's
and then
what
just
I-
watch them shoot for 3 hours straight.
That's exactly what I would do.
Very funny.
Yeah. Have you taken any interesting notes in your
The only
book?
notes I've taken are sad. I just wrote internment camps bad.
Yeah. We didn't cover those, but those were bad.
And then Pearl Harbor
Also bad.
bad, and
Yep.
I put parentheses film and event.
Yep. Wasn't great. Do you think aliens were responsible for Pearl Harbor?
No. Okay. No, I won't go that far.
Okay. Just checking. Now, what all the theories have in common is that they ended in an explosion of shellfire, with only the searchlights reflecting in the dark sky. The flashes of anti-aircraft shell bursts could be mistaken as enemy planes, amplifying the illusion of an attack. Any further careful observation was difficult because of all the smoke, and in fact, LA's acting commander of the Anti-Aircraft Artillery Brigade said that at first he was convinced that he had seen 15 planes in the air, but quickly decided that he was actually just seeing smoke.
Whoops.
Egg on his face.
Yeah.
So a lot to consider there, and I feel like I know your answer, but maybe I don't. Maybe you won't be as far out on a ledge on this one. What do you think it really was?
I'm gonna go with weather balloons.
You think it was weather balloons?
No, you idiot, it's aliens. Come on.
Do you genuinely think it was aliens?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's aliens fucking with us. I think it'd be good for, it's funny. It's the funniest solution to me. And also, they've lied about weather balloons so many times, so it's just
Yeah.
like, they lied about having an alien program. How am I gonna trust them with this?
I mean, it's a,
Why would they have an alien program if they didn't have things in the past that have happened that they couldn't explain?
they should turn this into a screenplay and just sort of redo Battle Los Angeles and just do this, but with aliens.
That'd be good.
I think if I had to wager a genuine guess, I'd probably go with weather balloons. I know that's not
Scans.
sexy or fun. I
Scans.
do believe in aliens. I don't believe that aliens have really visited us.
Have a sense of
except
humor.
for those little Mexican ones who I love so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are fake, though.
I don't want them to be. Well, let's bring it home here. Was it just smoke and fear the gunners were shooting at that fateful night? Or perhaps the smoke and mirrors of a mission of Japanese espionage? Was it a bird? A plane? A
Or David
balloon?
Blaine.
I like that. I don't think it was him,
No? All right.
unless he's sort of a vampire and is eternal.
It's possible.
Was it a bird, a plane, a balloon, or an alien? Which, according to recent congressional testimony, we can't technically rule out.
Yeah.
However, whatever the wardens were actually firing at is still, to this day, considered a mystery.
Hooray.
That was a wild one, huh, Bergoose?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we all agree what it was, and we can end the episode.
Yeah, I think that about does it. Well, let's be thankful that we live in quieter times here in Los Angeles and we haven't been attacked, or for now.
God, it'd be fucking metal to just get killed by an alien. Preferably in front of my family.
If you could plan your death, would you ask to, not die peacefully in bed at night, but in fact get your brains blown out by a little alien?
Well, on one hand, you could die peacefully surrounded by loved ones on your deathbed.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, wouldn't it be amazing if I was on my deathbed surrounded by loved ones and then an alien killed me in bed in front of them.
Yeah, like it was a really peaceful scene, some golden evening light
Yeah,
spilling
exactly.
in, and then your family's all like, oh, I think his time is near, and you're like,
Come closer.
I have no regrets. And then suddenly, through the open window, just
And it just blows my brains out. It'd be great.
everyone's screaming. You're just smiling.
My last words as blood squirting out of my mouth would be like, I knew it! And I'd die.
Well, I hope that happens for you.
Me too.
I hope your dreams come true. Thank you for joining us for yet another award-winning episode of Mystery Files. And folks, we'll see you next week. That's what Cuba's doing after his big Oscar win.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Nothing but respect for Cuba.
Gooding Jr.
Gooding Jr.
I mean, and
Yeah,
sure, why not? Yeah.
yeah.